we think of Prince? Dearly beloved. So I'm doing a splurge, which is how I start all my music, and oh, I got a new look. Check this out, synth-cam. Ooh, synth-cam, studio cam, mic cam. Anyway, let's go back to synth-cam, and let's do the splurge. Where was I? Profit. Let's rename that. Probably what I could do with doing is saving as a template. Like that. Okay. I'm just going to press play, I think. Oh, hang on a minute. Timing. What's it doing? By the way, if you're watching and you have a question about what I'm doing or what you're doing or anything to do with your music, then please feel free. These live streams aren't just about you watching me, noodle away in here. They're for me to help you. So please feel free to ask anything. So far, I've answered questions about what my favourite cheese is, what my favourite tree is. That was being thrown, no? Right, let's try something and see what happens. That's how inaccurate I am. It's going from 100 to scoring 105. Let's just get. I know I've got something pretty intense playing on the DFAM, and I don't want to change that to something a lot less. What's happened to my lead? less swing on that, please. Oh, synth cam. Forgot about synth cam. Here we go. There you go, synth cam in action. So I've got to get used to my get used to changing my camera angles. Right, that's just marking time, which is what we want. So let's go back to studio cam. Once again, Mike Monday forgets what he was playing only 2 seconds ago. Got to be something in there. There's got to be something in there, mate. Oh, crikey. Computer cam. Hello. I think for the next couple of streams, I'm going to be screaming to myself with the different cams, just to remind myself in the future to do it, so it becomes a seamless experience of watching. For you, rather than me suddenly going, I'm doing something over here and you don't know what it is, which is probably somewhat annoying. Now, let's see. Well, I said I've got to get a profit cam as well. Maybe I can move synth cam. Hello, synth cam. Oops. Oh. Something weird with this pitch thing that seems to change. Anyway. Sorry about my children upstairs, by the way. Record the audio of me playing around with that knob. I need some water. I just did some I had 2 mastermind groups this morning, so I'm feeling a little talked out because there's a lot of talking that happens. So I started at sorry about that. It started at 4 a.m. this morning, and they each went on for about 2.5 hours. So while I wasn't talking all the time, I was talking for a fair amount of it. So let's just focus on the music, man. So here we go. Let's go back to studio cam this time. Right. What was I doing? Yes. So. Let's go. Actually, what I need to do before I do that, I just want to see what it sounds like without the effect on. Where's the effect? I think it's just some reverb, so I'm going to turn off the effect. I'm not mad keen on the profit effects, to be honest. There's something about this synth that I don't like, and I don't want to slag anything off. I mean, you can do great things with anything, right? But one thing that I don't like about the sound of the synth is it's got this real glassiness to it, which kind of bothers me a bit. I don't know if anyone else has noticed that in this synth. Hi, Vidus. Oh, David August. Yeah, I'll take it. I like me a bit of David August. So, let's go. So bear in mind, because I'm splurging, I'm not worried about the mistakes and the timing things at this point. What I think I can do actually is I can name this as the name of the sound, so I can remember what the sound is. U1P38. Nope. So what I may well do is change the sound, do a different sound, use that sound, use that part, not use that part. I don't know. Doesn't matter at the moment though, because I'm just splurging. So this is all about ideas. Okay. Let's record something over here. How loud is that? My synth cam. Should have shown you the synth cam. Synth cam. I can't believe I keep forgetting that. I need to have a big sign on the wall saying synth cam. Synth cam, Mike Monday. Synth cam. Give me the synth cam. Right. Let's have it. Hello? Oh, you're a bad boy. Right, let's go. Try again. Take two. All that dancing for nothing. Right, synth cam needs to be moved over here. we go. Louis is saying interesting time slot. It depends where you live in the world, Louis. It's 10 o'clock in the morning over here. It's some other time somewhere else, and it's some other time somewhere else. So maybe it's interesting for you. For me, it's quite dull. Hello, Rich. Hello, Ro. Hello, Jace. So I think what I'm actually going to do, this is not a splurging, but I've got some kind of, I'm going to do it now because I forgot to do it yesterday, so I might as well do it now. It's alright, you can lurk all you want. Actually, no, you can't. No, don't lurk. Don't lurk. At least say hello. Please, at least say hello. Just hello, that's all I ask, so I know someone's there. Anyway, joking aside, what I am actually going to do is I'm going to find out why I have some unpleasant. I mean, I like distortion. It's one of my favourite things in the world. In fact, don't tell my wife. But aside from, there's some unpleasant distortion coming in on DFAM, and I'm wondering if it's Studer. Studer's got in my face. And I'm going to actually work this out now, because otherwise I'll forget. So I don't need to go to sync the cam for this, do I? Well, that sounds really, really weird when it's without the thing on top, doesn't it? Sounds all over the place. Right, hang on, so what's going on? It's not stewed up. Is it the lead, I wonder? Is it this? Oh, I think it might just be coming into my headphones. This is weird. Can you tell me, Fex, is that is there a at the start of every kick drum there for you? Like that. I mean, I could do this by listening to the recording, but I won't, so I'm trying to figure it out now. See if I can just... Yeah, it definitely is for me. Right, there isn't now for me. That's weird. It's an unpleasant sound. Yeah, maybe it's just my headphones. Yeah. What is it? I've done something weird. Yeah, it's like like that. It's the lead. No, it shouldn't be the lead. It's a very high quality lead. That's very new as well. I'm going to work this out later. Yeah, no, I'm not. It's like I don't like. At the end of the day, okay. So here's my thing. Here's my thing about recording stuff, tracking stuff, is that yeah, I can obviously sort it out later, but like where I do want to focus in general is in making sure that what's going in is of the and no, this is I'm the splurge guy, right? Zero focus on quality, right? But it's almost like an overarching thing. What you want to have going in, yeah, the thing that you're tracking, you want that to be as clean as possible. You don't want to have to sort it out because I might not want to high pass. Yeah, I might not want to do that going in. Yeah, I might want the full thing for some reason. Yeah, so I want to sort out why, because it wasn't doing that before at all. It wasn't that. Yeah, but anyway, I'm going to sort it out later because I'm sure it's something to do with what I've done. I like having the full thing. Hello, David. Yeah, there's a rattling sound that doesn't sound like something to do with. Just sounds like a connection thing to me. Anyway, I'm not going to worry about it for now. A mouse bit the cable, indeed. Maybe it was dead mouse. How dare you, dead mouse? I'm sure it wasn't dead mouse. Oh, hang on. Yeah. Simple this, but I still haven't got my head around it. Shh. Alright, now I've got that to frequency. VCO mod amount. Right, so that wants to go down. And let's turn it on to synthcam. Synthcam! There you go. Hello, synthcam. Right, let's turn it on to synthcam so you can see. Can you see what I'm doing? Can you see what I'm doing? Yes, you can. Alright. So I've not used the modder very much, and it's fairly simple, but because I'm a little bit unpracticed, I'm not immediately going to the right thing. Right, so I see. Okay, so that's sustain, on and off. On VCF mod source, EG, which is the envelope. So, and with the envelope, we've got attack and decay. So there we go. So why is that doing that? So we've got VCO mod destination frequency, but we're not doing that because we're not using that. VCO mod source is envelope stroke VCO mod. Now what does that mean exactly? Okay, interesting. Okay, I'm just going to turn that down, I think. Right. Low pass. Okay, cool. LFO. Ow, do Rob! How you doing? Now there's a at the end of that, which I quite like, but what I'm not liking about it is the fact that I don't know why it's there. So, LFO. So when I let it go, that means that something's happening to the envelope. So it's the modulation on the envelope, which is probably something to do. Is this plugged in somewhere? No. Right, so if okay, so the decay seems to be going. Oh, hang on a minute. So is this a plus and a minus thing? Let's find out. Woo! Okay, so that's the frequency. So So the envelope is affecting the pulse width. Yeah. And the envelope is also... I wish I knew what the slash meant between EG and VC mod. That's something to find out. Anyway. Anyway, I'm faffing around now. I'm not splurging. I'm doing a bit of learning. Right, so let's go back to Studio Cam. David Graham, wow. Blast from the past. Someone I went to school with. If it is the same David Graham. Is this the David Graham from Oakham? If so, hello. How the hell are you? If not, apologies. How the hell are you? So, I'm going to play something in now, eventually, after all that faff. And I'm just going to not press record, I'm just going to press play. Try again. So, this is for David Graham's benefit. Let me explain to you, David, what I'm doing. We used to play, do you know what, guys? I've got David Graham watching this live stream. We went to school together, and I used to play the bassoon, and he was a couple of years above me. He used to play the clarinet, but we both used to play saxophone. And David Graham is a demon sax and clarinet player. And he was always like totally amazing. I was always kind of a bit rubbish. So yeah, that's how I knew David. Sorry, Dave. Yes, of course, Dave Graham. Yes, because it says David there. So that's how I knew Dave, and then we totally lost touch after school. So just for Dave's benefit, What I'm doing here is I'm doing a thing called a splurge, which is basically how I start all my music, which is essentially about you just don't focus on quality at all. Yeah, I mean when I say at all, as far as possible. So you're not editing in any way. You're just going yeah and playing basically what comes out. And we do absolutely loads of splurges, and then you select the ones that you want to work on in the future. In so doing, avoiding kind of messing yourself up before you've got anything. So there we go. That's an explanation for my old friend Dave. Had an old girlfriend turn up on. You remember Sarah, don't you, Dave? So Sarah Sansom said hello on a on a live stream. It's amazing how this live streaming, bringing the world together. I don't know if you remember what was it called? Friend something. It was before social media. Do you remember that when there was that friend thing where everybody kind of got together? Yeah, like that. Live streaming, bringing the world together once again. Right, let's go back here. What I want to do is quantize that first note so that it actually catches when I drop the part. Alright. Now let's just listen to where I want this to come in. Friends reunited. Thank you, Dave. Do you remember that? Friends reunited. It was like a revolutionary thought back then. Now we've got now we've got Facebook, which is more like enemies made, or maybe Twitter. It's probably more like that. From friends reunited to enemies created. Yeah, man. Like I tell you. In fact, David, why don't you do my Idea Explosion Challenge program? It's free. At the moment it is anyway. So in the post above, there's a link to an order form, right? And it's usually $50, so you have to put in your details and stuff. So sorry about that. There's an order form. There's a link to that. Click the link to that. Put Practice 2020 in the coupon code box. You'll get it for free. And then I'll show you the full banana with Splurging because there's a whole bunch of stuff around it. And I'm convinced, Dave, I'm convinced you'll find it immensely valuable. So, yeah, there you go. Do that. And then you'll get the pleasure of seeing my face over and over again on a bunch of videos. Oh, Eric, just happened to have bought Pen and Coda. And I happen to be splurging. Do you know what? Pen and Coda. In fact, let's play it right now. They happened super quickly, both of them. Like they were literally like, how did that happen? Hang on a minute, not Coda. There's probably 5,000 things called Coda. Right, so let's go to Mike Monday. I was reliably told by one of my favourite clients that I really need to change this profile picture. Not good branding, apparently. I was like, have you spoken to me recently? Anyway, so let's see if this is actually working. So let's listen to both. Can you actually let's find out whether you can hear this first. Can't I? Can you? That's strange. Hang on a minute, maybe I need to do this. Making up as we go along. DAW. Is that it? I don't know why I can't hear that now. It's probably something to do with this. System audio, there we go. Is that it? Can you tell me, when I play this, does this go all phasey for you? Isn't it? I still can't hear that though, which is very strange. I wonder why. Now, if the stream goes when I do this. Apologies. Okay. Why not? Ah. Okay, so what, making it up as we go along. Making it up as we go along. Sorry. At some point, you are going to actually hear the tune. Source mix. There we go. So, to the YouTube gods, this is my music that I am playing on my live stream. So please do not remove it or tell me I'm not allowed to do it. Okay, just let me go through this. Mike Monday, is it okay if I play your music on your live stream? Yes, Mike Monday, it is okay. I give you permission. Do I need to sign something? No, you do not. I give you verbal permission. Okay. Let's go. Where are we? Nice one, Dave. So, why, you may ask, did I just play that all the way through? Because I believe there is an important lesson. There's a number of important lessons. Whoa! Oh, chill out! Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, way to break the vibe, Hugo. That was the Hugo remix of the Salieri Complex, which is another track. Anyway, so let's go back to this, and I will explain why I just played that and what we can all learn from it. And what am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? I think I'm going to Q1. Hello. Yes. Okay. So the reason I played that all the way through, because I thought it would be instructive, because that last the coda track, the last one, that like literally came out of one session, a splurge. And there really wasn't very much I did to it at all at any point, other than just mixing and panning and putting things. I mean, it's very, 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 very simple, but that just went. It came out like that. And the reason I played the one before it was because it was kind of almost exactly the opposite, in that I really struggled to make that track. Because really, actually, there's 3 tracks in that. I'll just share it with you. There are 3 tracks in that. Where are we? Oh, why didn't you open the same place? Epic. Yes, it is a little bit epic. So on this album here, these 3 tracks are basically the same track, split into 3 tracks. So you will notice that basically that is the same. Pen which is nearly in Latin, I think, this is nearly is the same track as that, and this is kind of the start of it. And I really struggled with both this and this. I was solving a problem, but once I'd solved the problem, this one came out super fast. It was almost like, what happened was, you know, the bit where I got up and pretended to be what's it called, Liberace. You know, it was kind of a little bit like a cross between Liberace and ABBA or something. That da, 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 you know, totally over the top, ridiculous. You know, kind of gold lame, you know, dinner jackets and things like that is what I think of at that point. It kind of led to landing, and I wanted this enormous amount of contrast. Well, I didn't want it. It kind of came, and I was like, oh, that would be good. It's an enormous amount of contrast between the end of this track, which is just, I mean, it's almost absurd. I kind of wanted to see how far I could take it, because the extremely enormous wibble is, just to let you know, is, no, I've got to do this again. Extremely enormous wibble is, no, that's not right. That's not what I want to do. I want to do this. So I'll get there in the end, guys. This and this. Yeah, it's like this. So it goes from there to the massive, and basically what Pene was it was like the break of extremely enormous wibble, and I didn't want to go back to that kind of banging groove after it, and I didn't just want it to go into nothingness, so I decided to split the tracks up and go in to that. But then once I got to this point, I was like, where do I go from there? Because I'd kind of like, it just kind of totally gone nuts with this one. Yeah. And really, when you go that far, the only way to go is almost the opposite direction, which is where I did that. And as soon as I knew that, it was like I went dong, and I just played it, and it just came out. Within, I mean, it was what, I don't know, half an hour or something. Yeah, I can turn up my mic. Yeah. It was half an hour or something. How do I do that? There we go. I think what it might be is because I turned it down for a reason. Okay, is that better? Yeah. It just came out in half an hour, but without any. So I just splurged it out, really. But it wasn't a. What's the word? I wasn't intentionally splurging, but without having practiced splurging over and over again, I probably wouldn't have been able to. Yeah. Yes. So Luke's saying, I remember seeing the video of you listening to the splurge that started it. Your face was so shocked. Yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't have. I kind of wouldn't have been able to do it. So actually learning this kind of way of interacting the process and just letting it happen, kind of created the end of that album, if you like. And I'm sure there was another thing I was going to say about it, but I can't remember what it was. Oh yeah, that was it. It was about listening back. So the other reason that I listened back just then was that listening to your own music in different contexts is really, I think, is a really important thing to do, because you listen to it completely differently, and that makes the music sound different. So that was the first time I've actually listened to a piece of you were here for a world first. That was the first time I ever listened to a piece of music on a live stream with people watching me listening to it, and I was like, oh, this would be an interesting experiment to see how it sounds. And it's very different from listening to it on my own. It's very different from it playing to my family. It's very different from playing it to a mastermind group in order to sort of teach something. Yeah. And it was a very, very different experience for me, and I heard it differently, and I learnt different things about it. When you shift, I mean, this is why I get everybody to export the audio from every session, or record the audio from every session, every single session, is because the act of hearing an audio file, of a stereo audio file of your session, is different to hearing it out of a DAW or on a tape. On a multi-track tape. Yeah. It might not be different to listening to it on a cassette tape if you record it to a cassette tape. But anyway, but basically it's just a very, very different experience, because you're kind of listening to, in some way, something that's in the next phase, and playing it to someone means that you listen to it, you hear it differently, and playing it in this context meant I heard it differently. And one of the things I really took from listening to those two pieces of music was that at the point that I wrote those, that to me was the very best I could have done. I mean, it was just like, I was surprised at how much I liked. I mean, I'm not saying they're great pieces of music, because you'll hear what I'm going to say next. I was surprised at how much I liked what I was making. I was on fire. I was having the time of my life. I'd come back to making music after 8 years, and I had, I basically wrote this album in essentially a month. I think those ones came later, actually. Those tracks came later, but I wrote the first version of the album in a month, and then I wrote these later, and I was just like absolutely on fire. And I was just like, man, this is just, I'm finally doing something that is getting towards what I want to do. But I couldn't imagine how it could get any better than that, because I was closer than ever to fulfilling something that I'd not fulfilled in my previous career with this album. And now, so this album, I finished this in 2019. So now listening back with all of the practice that I've been doing, with all the music I've been making, I listen back and I'm like, it sounds quite rubbish. It sounds quite rubbish to me. I'm like, man, I've come on a long way. Yeah, I really am much more, I kind of clear about what I'm doing. So all of that is to say that, so in a sense, my progress now, has made me dissatisfied with what I did then. Yeah, I mean, I really was really into it back then, but I listened back to it and I was like, well, that's, because of the progress that I've made. And this is why I say to everybody that I got an email from someone, I won't say who it is, but it's a very, very famous, almost legendary producer, who said, I just want to get to the point where I can make a music that I never have to cringe at. And I was like, that is literally one of the worst goals I can think of. Apart from a load of other reasons, but for this very reason, is that if you are progressing and getting better and becoming the artist that you want to be, and that is all you can ever do, is become. You're not ever there, right? Because it's like the horizon. If you're always progressing and becoming the artist that you aspire to be, then the music that you've made to get there is always going to sound not up to par forever, right? So dissatisfaction is part of the process. It just is, and you have to get used to it. So that's why I think it's important to do lots of the things that I'm asking you to do when you do my programs and things like that, because it's a lot about being able to move forward, feeling uncomfortable about what you're doing, and feeling literally like you are a work in progress, because in reality, that's all we all ever are, are works in progress. So anyway, I'm going to finish this up because I've got Luke on the live stream, and I'm meant to be talking to him in a meeting right now. Sorry, Luke. So I've got to finish this splurge, and then I'll get on the call. If you can still do the rest of it, I'm really, really sorry. Just today got all messed up. This. Okay, cool. Luke says no pressure at all. Phew. happens. So Rose saying, Mike, I have a track I've been working on before the Idea Explosion challenge. It was going to be the main single of an album that I wasn't 100% excited about, but that song was really good to me. Now it's the worst of the bunch.